So let's move right into text messages. What's good with that? So I got a couple of services here. I got Freedom Solve, Roar, Lead Sherpa, Batch Leads. These are all good companies. The best part about it is they keep you compliant, right? So when you're looking at these particular, when you're looking at your particular text message platform, you want to make sure you're compliant, because if you're not, you will be getting a lawyer, get you a call, right? And figure what's going on, why you're texting me and all that good stuff. So just rule of thumb with text messaging, in order to stay compliant, you must send a message one by one. If you're doing bulk mass text messaging and nobody wanted to be, actually have you, or nobody signed up to be on your texting list, you'll be acting out of compliance. So in order to stay in compliance, you must send one by one. Another thing is make sure you're changing your numbers. Have a ton of numbers on your text message. That way they don't get flagged. What's happening right now, there's a lot of people are being flagged by different carriers, AT&T, Verizon. A lot of people are complaining to the actual carrier, and the carrier are now flagging a lot of the messages. So make sure that you're compliant when you're using it. That's why I listed these companies right here, because they're compliant. As far as quality control, text messages, obviously you got to be able to respond to them. When you send out 1,000 text messages, you got to be ready for 1,000 responses. Now, majority of those by these systems will be flagged if they come with some stop, do not text me. If it start like that, a lot of those keywords are actually going to be flagged, so you can't respond to them anymore. But essentially, that's what you want to take a lot of that wasted time off of your hands. But essentially, when you get a hot lead, you want to make sure you can respond to them immediately. That way, they don't feel like they're talking to a robot, but they actually feel like somebody's on the other end of that number texting them, right? Open rate, 81%. 81% as far as open rate. That means, and I believe that's within like the first 10 or 30 minutes, that time frame. So everybody you send a text message, if it's a cell phone, they indeed will get, typically 8 times out of 10, they'll open up their text message and take a look at it, right? If they're not being bombarded by anything at that particular moment. But a lot of times they'll open it up, which is a great thing for us as real estate investors. When we pay our money to actually market to our particular clients, we want to know that, hey, somebody's actually getting the message. Somebody's actually opening it up. So if it's an opportunity for you guys to actually go out there and make money, I would say text message marketing is a great one that you can tap into right now. Obviously, it's one that's working because we're closing deals using text messaging, and a lot of people are. So it's definitely a good one. Scalable, yes. Text message is highly scalable. Typically what we do is we get a VA to oversee our text messages. Now, I would recommend everybody to actually do it the first week or two, because you got to train somebody. You got to know what you're doing if you're going to have somebody there. That way you can hold them accountable exactly what we do and how we do it. But with that being said, the first week or two, you send out a lot of text messages and you save, copy and paste those responses. Once you copy and paste the responses, now you take the thinking out of it. All they got to do is look at it and see which one do it match up. Is it closely like, right? If you got this response before, how do we respond to it today, right? We're going to respond to it the exact same way. So copy and paste those particular documents, get that over to your VA, and essentially they'll be able to run it for you. So you can take it hands off. Very scalable with text. Now, the one thing I want to talk about with text messaging, you have to be able to relate. You have to be able to relate. When I'm talking about 81% of people are opening up that message, you get one shot, just like cold calling. This is your first line of communication with this particular seller. You get one shot to say something that's really going to speak to them, right? Talking about foreclosures. Let's talk about foreclosures and what kind of pain they may be thinking or maybe having. Drop a 1 in the chats if you think foreclosures are worried about their credit, right? If you think they're worried about saving their credit. Boom. Okay. So we got somebody think that. That's important, right? Exact same thing. Now, what about if you guys dealt with foreclosures? Do you think foreclosures, do they think about where they're going to go next, right? Do you think they have that question? And you can just drop a one if you think if you can agree with me, right? They're probably thinking about their credit. They're probably thinking about where am I going to go next. They probably don't even know a realtor. They've been in that house for the last 15 years. The realtor that sold it to them, they can't even remember their name, right? They've been there forever. That's probably some of their worries. They're probably wondering, well, if I go, what money will I use? I can't even pay this mortgage, let alone my credit in such bad shape. How am I going to get into that new place? Right? Those are some of the concerns. So if you know that some of the concerns, we need to go out and we need to put together a message that speaks directly to that particular seller. And I wouldn't say make one that's just kind of generic, like that you'll blast out to everybody. But for that particular niche list, you want to go and you want to speak something that's going to actually resonate with that seller. Right? So we may put together, hey, my name is Jordan, Lone Star House Solutions. And we was trying to see if you maybe had some questions like about your credit, getting your credit repaired, find a new place to go, wanted an extension on how long you could stay, maybe a lease back to you. If those are some of the questions, please definitely give us a text back or call back, or put some kind of form of call to action on it. But essentially that message is there to resonate with them. I'm trying to answer just about every question that they could possibly be thinking. Now, I know when you hit hard times, typically nobody's willing to just talk to everybody about hard times, right? You got one or two people. So you got all these questions, but you're not necessarily trying to get them answered because you're afraid that somebody's going to get in your business and find out what's happening. You're losing your house, right? So with that being said, when you get an opportunity to talk to these particular people, make sure you leave a message that resonates with the seller. Right? So I'm gonna move right on. And this is what I do. I do cold calling, text message, RVMs. This is what I do all the time. So we look at RVMs. Where can you get your RVMs from? I get mine from Just Deliver It. You got Slide Broadcast. You got REIRL. Both are great companies. Like I said, I just use Just Deliver It. Now, one thing to know about the quality control portion of everything is that you got call volume, right? If you're doing RVMs and you're just starting, literally, I remember like it was yesterday. It was me and my brother in the office. We was about to sit down and have a meeting. And this is before we hired anybody. We got the RVMs out. They were hot, and we start sending them out. We send out probably 400 in an hour. Literally, that whole hour was spent answering the phone calls, right? So I want to eliminate that problem for you. The way you do it is the way we do it is we're talking about OptiTrack IVR voicemail prompt. IVR voicemail prompt. And that's all that is a prompt. Once you leave a voicemail, it'll filter all the people that's not interested, that just gave you a call back just because they saw a missed call. It'll filter all those calls. So you're only talking to the people that's actually interested in selling the property, right? So that voicemail prompt is going to sound something like this. Hey, this is Jordan. Thanks for giving me a call back. Press 1 to get a non-obligated cash offer. Press 2 to be put on our do not call list, right? So it filters out a ton of time, so we're not sitting there wasting time worrying about what's going on, right? So that's very good as far as a way to focus on what actually make money and not focus on answering all the phone calls. And if you don't have a big team, that's a way you can send out thousands of RVMs a day without worrying about who's going to handle those phone calls. And then, like I said earlier, if you're wondering about the data, right, Real Estate IQ can handle that. Okay, so as far as open rate, voicemails, Ringless voicemails, I gotta attest, I think that is accurate. 96% open rate. Now, I know the reason why I say that is because I open my voicemails every time I get them. Drop a 1 if you open up all your voicemails. Even if it's from 2 months ago, I'll still listen to it. Right? I may have called that number back, but even if it was from 2 months ago, I will still listen to that particular voicemail because I'm just eager to hear who exactly was it. Right? So that's one thing you guys got to keep in mind. They will open it, same thing now, honest opinion, and not even opinion. This is facts. We've tracked it time and time again. If you want your voicemail listened to, make sure it's a woman on the other end of the phone. Right? If it's a guy voice, right, I can't leave a voicemail, right? I can't do it. Nobody will call me back. If I want higher responses, I will put a woman, typically I use my wife Amanda, she always draws them up for us. And with her voice, there's always some older guy calling, looking to speak to Amanda. They call, they know exactly who they're calling to talk to, and it's their opportunity to sell their property, but they want to speak to Amanda. So with that being said, if you want a higher response rate on your RBMs, definitely put a woman on the other end of that phone as opposed to guys. I'm sorry, guys, but it just don't work out for us. Right? Is it scalable? Definitely. Like with the Auto-Track IVR voicemail prompt, it's perfectly. You can be a one-man team and run RBMs and only speak to the one person that's interested in selling their house, or the multiple people that's interested in selling their house. You don't have to sit there and answer all those phone calls. Now, as far as the message, since you guys are still with me, this is what we say on our message, and like I said, Amanda goes through it, but it's something like this, and just let me know if you think this will work or not. Hey, this is Jordan. I got a couple of properties out in your neighborhood, and I was reaching out to you about your particular property. It's very important because that's it. That's the whole voicemail, right? Tell me, what would you do if you got that voicemail? Would you call it back? Drop a 1 if you think you'll call it back. Nobody will call it back? Okay, well, I gotta be honest with you. On that particular voicemail, since it sounds like you get disconnected, so many more people they have advantageous just to pick up that phone and call it back. Right? They're like, this was important. They said about my property, this was important. Let me call it back. It just cut out on me. I don't know what happened. Right? They'll probably listen to it twice, and they will call you when you'll know when they listen to that voicemail, because they will call you and say, yeah, I got a call about my property. They said it was important. 9 times out of 10, right? So that's exactly what we've been able to do in our business. We change it up. Obviously, a lot of these tweaks, I'm giving you guys what we do, exactly how we do it. But a lot of these tweaks have come just over time, over the years of doing it. But marketing is essential to your business, and obviously we've been able to tweak ours a whole heck of a lot. But that's essentially what we got. So